So what do you do with your kids all day when they're homeschooled? So now you've been told that your curriculum is anywhere between 30 minutes to 2 hours a day, which is dramatically different than the 7 hours they'd be getting at school plus homework. So what on earth are they going to do to fill up the rest of their time? Anything they want to. Anything they want to. The world is their oyster. What would you do if you had the entire day off? Nothing to do on the agenda, no one to watch. You would probably get some things done around the house that you knew needed to get done, like your basic chores. You maybe would watch a TV show, catch up on something on YouTube, read a book, maybe go hang out with friends. Maybe you'd try something new like painting, or you'd research some kind of new hobby you'd want to do. You would find a way to fill the time. And I know everybody hates on TV, but we need to think beyond TV and realize there's things like YouTube now. There's a lot of things that you can learn on YouTube, and you can learn it by watching entertaining things on YouTube. You can learn to cook, you can learn to sew, you can learn to build a house, you can learn everything about engineering. So are you sitting in front of a screen? Sure, but are you learning all about the planet's movement? Absolutely. You can learn everything from space travel to snail travel. Oddly, those were two topics that were learned in my house this week. Giving your kids the freedom to figure out what they're going to do next is going to raise a healthier adult. And I know that we're undoing the damage that school has done with the idea that you're at school all day long, so when you sit in front of a screen, you just want to not think. You want to be entertained. You want to be amused. But in reality, there's a lot to muse over. See, muse means to think. Amuse means to not think, because when you put an A in front of it, it becomes to not. So yes, after a long day of work, you want to go home and do nothing. You want to sit down and not think. But if you didn't have the stress of that whole day, you want to continue to think because you still have energy to expel. When they first come out of school, they may be still completely overwhelmed, and they may need time to just decompress and de-school their brain. They've spent a lot of time in a system that is doing everything they can to keep them busy, busy, busy. Because busy kids stay out of trouble, and that makes an easier management for the school system. That makes sense for the school system. That doesn't make sense for home. So give them some time to decompress and amuse themselves. But eventually they're going to get sick of amusing themselves. Eventually they're going to want to learn something. And slowly you're going to see that spark come back, that they're just going to go, hey, well, I want to know more about that. Let me go figure out how to learn more about that. And your job then is to help them discern information, understand information, know what is right and what's wrong, know how to listen to things that they disagree with. Quite honestly, we could all benefit from that skill. Because then they can know how to sit with people they disagree with while still loving the person on the other side of the table. Again, something we all should learn. My favorite two resources for teaching them how to think is Thinking Toolbox and Fallacy Detective. I also suggest adults read them, because we didn't learn that in school. But really, don't be scared of your kids having free time. It's a good thing. It's a healthy thing. It's a time they can learn self-governance, work-life balance. Because it's not a parent's job to keep them engaged all day long. Being a parent is more like a manager than a teacher. The more you trust them to do on their own, the better off they're going to be in the long run.